Everyone. My name is Jill Cameron. I work at the University of Alberta in the Faculty of Kinesiology, Sport and Recreation, and I'm very excited to be here today and chat with all of you guys and introduce you to our amazing guest speakers that we have today.
My name is Joyce Dorr. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional territory of the land on which we gather today. I pay my respects to the elders, both past and present, here today.
So a little background on myself. Like I said, I work in the Faculty of Kinesiology, Sport and Recreation at the University of Alberta, and I worked on developing many of our graduate certificate programs that we offer in the faculty, including our Indigenous Sport and Recreation Graduate Certificate, which was the very first graduate certificate that we ever offered. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and then I'm going to introduce you to our guests, and then I'll tell you a little bit more again after. So the Indigenous Sport and Recreation Graduate Certificate is designed to assist working professionals gain a deeper understanding of the cultural context of Indigenous communities through sport and recreation. This program is offered in partnership with the Faculty of Kinesiology, Sport and Recreation, as well as the Faculty of Native Studies at the University of Alberta. The focus of this program is to provide professionals in similar areas as well with the skills and knowledge to better understand and help build healthy Indigenous communities through sport and recreation. The Indigenous Sport and Recreation Graduate Certificate is a fairly new program. It's only been up and running for 4 years, so it's currently in its fourth cohort. It's a cohort model program, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but currently in its fourth year, and we've had students complete this program from coast to coast. So we've had students from up north, students from Alberta, right here, Saskatchewan, the East Coast, the West Coast, all over, and it's been quite amazing, and it's been a real treat for me to get to know a lot of these students. I'm very fortunate that I get to work with them and get to know them on a more personal level as we go through the program. So today we have an alumni from the very first cohort joining us. Her name is Claire Wade, and Claire took this program in its very first offering. And she has just done some amazing things with the skills and knowledge that she learned in this program and applying it. She's a teacher, and she's applied this to her school and built an entire program. She's applied for grants, which is part of the program as well. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. So I'm going to turn it over to Claire right now. And Joyce works with Claire in their community. And together they've just done some amazing things. So I'll turn it over to them.
To tell you a little bit about myself, I was a colleague of Claire Wade, a teacher at Carsland Elementary School. I am originally from the Blood Reserve here in Alberta. And I worked with Claire for 4 years and helped her develop a Nature Connections program for the grade 5 and 6 students called the Nutsi Nature Connections Program. Nutsi means to shine bright. Today, we would like to share our experience from both an educational perspective and a community program perspective on how we merged Indigenous knowledge and conventional educational curriculum to create our unique program. The Nutsi Nature Connections program. I hope you enjoy it today.
I'd like to begin by thanking everyone at the conference for including us. It is a great honor and privilege to be part of this conference. So my name is Claire Wade. I am a teacher at Carsland Elementary School, and I'm going to just jump in and present a presentation on place-based learning and nature connection and our Nutsi program at Carsland School. So Jill's mentioned the certificate program, and it was an amazing program, an amazing certificate. When we look at the teacher quality standard of applying foundational knowledge about First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, this certificate gave me so many valuable experiences, skills, and knowledge. So when we take a look, it says a teacher develops and applies foundational knowledge about First Nations, Métis, Inuit for the benefit of all students. Achievement of this competency is demonstrated by, and when you take a look at all of the competencies or indicators, when we look at letter C, using the program of study to provide opportunities for all students to develop a knowledge and understanding of and respect for the histories, culture, language, contributions, perspective, experiences, and contemporary context of First Nations Métis and Inuit. This is when Joyce, Dora, and I began collaborating, and we co-created a program called Nature Connection. So we're going to spend a few minutes kind of talking about Ikanatsi, well, actually Nature Connection first, and then Ikanatsi. So Nature Connection is a program that we created together and it is a research-based school-wide program that focuses on social, emotional regulation, health, holistic wellness, and optimal cross-curricular learning. Respectfully incorporating Indigenous ways of knowing and culture is an essential piece of this program, and stewardship and sustainability are key focus areas. So through the Nature Connection program, students connect to nature, they connect to themselves, each other, and the community while engaging in authentic and real life learning. So this program is an example of celebrating the seeds of brilliance in all of our students. So Nature Connection has three kind of main focus areas: to honor and recognize Indigenous knowledge and ways of knowing and culture, to promote well-being, so physical and social emotional health, and connecting, relationship building to peers and community. Stewardship and sustainability through ecological literacy and developing relationship with the land is also key. So that's nature exploration, lots of time with connection and understanding. So sometimes video and pictures can capture a lot more than words. And so Joyce and I put together a short little video on Nature Connection and what that might look like in a day. So that provides you with like a little glimpse into a nature connection program. And this year, that program is school-wide. So children from K all the way to grade 6 in our elementary school get to either take part in nature connection or Nutsi. And I actually brought some of the books. So I even have a little collection of some of the books. So, and we can talk a little bit about that a little later as well. Some of our grandfather teachings that you might have seen in the video. So we have Ini, the buffalo, and we have Beta, the eagle, or Beaksy, the bird. And our breathing ball goes with us wherever we go. So it's I just brought a few things, and our little stools. So this is just a little quick, easy way for the kids to get outside and to sometimes not have to sit on the ground.
To quote Dr. Leroy Littlebear, certain patterns, events, and cycles occur at certain locations and are easily observable, including animal migrations, cycles of plant and animal life, weather, and seasons. The culture of the Blackfoot involves a communication and connection with nature and animals. The environment is the classroom. In this classroom, content is relevant and meaningful, and connections are easily made.
So when Joyce and I are putting this program together, the idea of the environment, connecting with that environment, and that being the classroom is essential.
The two-eyed seeing approach. Two-eyed seeing approach refers to learning to see from one eye with the strengths of the Indigenous knowledge and ways of knowing, and from the other eye with both the strength of the Western knowledge and ways of knowing, and learning to use both of these eyes together for the benefit of all. This is a quote from the Mi'kmaq elder Albert Marshall, 2014. A central focus is respectfully incorporating Indigenous ways of knowing into programming. I am the cultural liaison, and I share my knowledge with the students. We also have Elder Daryl Breaker from the Siksika Nation, who also meets with the students taking part in the Nutsi program on a regular basis.
And like I mentioned, literature from a variety of Indigenous authors is a foundational piece of this program. So every Nature Connection program, we have a story outside usually, and that connects with a variety of lessons and a variety of authors as well. So this one, Monique Gray Smith, When We Are Kind, beautiful book. So there's a variety of books that are featured. So sometimes I feel like a fox. Yeah. So it's focused on a variety of themes throughout the year, and the power of story is an essential part of this lesson, or each of the lessons.
The 7 grandfather teachings is an integral part of this program and our school's core values. 1, love, Pita. 2, respect, Ini. Bravery, Kyayu. Honesty, Etapioi. Humility, Omahkabisi. Wisdom, Xistaki. Truth, Spupi.
So the students really connect with the grandfathers. They're puppets. So we have a variety of puppets that come to visit, and those core values provide consistency in each of the grades. So we can be talking about Beta outdoors. If there's an issue on the playground, we can talk about Ini, respect. And so that's what a beautiful part of this program is, having the students, or all of the students in the school, because we have that common language, the core values, and we use those on a regular basis. Nature Connection also focuses on a social emotional learning, so the optimal soil for blooming. So we start each lesson by doing a check-in with how we're feeling. We have like a feeling flower, or fist of 5, or we have our breathing ball, and the students all have their own personal breathing balls where we kind of just check in and do a moment of just feeling our feelings and checking in with our emotions, and then really not only feeling those feelings, but identifying them, that name it to tame it. So we practice naming our feelings and identifying certain feelings. The literature, we focus on, for example, like the kindness, how we feel. There's also a variety of books on how we're feeling and naming those feelings. And then, of course, building positive relationships. So a lot of the activities in Nature Connection are kind of built on team and working together, cooperation games, and really cheering each other on and building each other up. So Nature Connection provides a space for mindfulness and regulation. So we have the sit spots. So each student has a sitting area. They love these little stools, and they use their 5 senses. So we kind of start at the beginning of the year with a few minutes or a minute of kind of doing our sit spots, taking in what we smell, what we hear, and we kind of build that up gradually to longer periods of time. The breathing ball is something that we use regularly as well. And just when we're out in nature, being in the present moment. So taking that in, not thinking about what we're doing next week or what we're having for lunch, but really taking in the moment. So we're at the stories that focus on emotions and feelings. So those are integrated into the story choices. A growth mindset. We focus on challenges as opportunities. So really that resilience piece. We focus on thinking of learning as brain training, right? First attempts in learning, persistence. So a lot of the tasks that we do outside, even being outdoors when maybe it's a little uncomfortable, the weather is maybe windy or snowy, finding those areas where there's windbreak, and working as a team to solve problems. So really being solution and strength focused. And I think that leads well into this connecting. So really team building. We have some challenges outside, and the kids really love working together. We're building snow towers and seeing how high they could get their tower and then measuring those towers. We always kind of do the activities as teams or working together. The picture on the slides is Joyce, our Mrs. Dorr, working with the students to plant bulbs in the fall. We had some beautiful tulip bulbs donated, and so they're working, and it was, I mean, that soil was dry and it was hard, and really digging away to get those bulbs put in there. So just connecting with each other, working as a team, cheering each other on, and then planting those little seeds.
Community difference makers. Our mint tea company and the community connection of being part of the Adopt an Elder program happened for the first time last year. And the mint tea leaves that the kids had gathered, they dried them and they made them into little packets. And we found out that the Siksika elders had a program where you could adopt an elder. And so we took that upon ourselves and we created little baskets to donate to the elders. And so we had a community member come out and receive those packages that we made up. And the kids were just thrilled at being able to do this and give us gifts.
It's kind of that focus moving away from our classroom to our school, and then bigger impact in our community as well. So that is part of the Nature Connection program as well. We also collected, this year we collected seeds. So the kids loved collecting nasturtium seeds in the fall, and we collected the nasturtium seeds, and then they packaged those seeds and we dropped them off at the post office, and people could help themselves to some seeds. These projects, and just they build synergy, right? There's so much excitement, and then the kids want to keep doing more and more. And it's great because you have the synergy of the school. These kids are doing consistent kind of programs. They're having consistent experience, and so it's really neat. And then, of course, being outdoors nurtures our natural curiosity. So it has that, you know, the sense of wonder and play. There's lots of time for play. It creates a connection to place. And then once we're connected to place, the stewardship and sustainability skills. And is that developing that relationship? We protect things that we love, and we first have to foster that connection. And so when we are outside on a frequent basis and we're visiting the same locations and you know, building the relationships with the animals and the plants and our stories, the students want to protect that. And so that's that key to sustainability, is developing and fostering that relationship to the environment. And nature is definitely our greatest teacher. Patience, or delayed gratification. So nature connection with nature, one of my favorite stories, there is a grandfather that's talking to his grandson, and he says, "Patience, Billy, good things take time." And it's about a garden. And I firmly believe that nature teaches that so often. And in this picture, you can see the students planting those tulip bulbs and then waiting and waiting and waiting and being really curious and seeing and looking and being patient. And the picture on your far right in the slides are the tulips actually blooming. So same tree, same location, and the tulips bloomed. And so I feel like nature connection, we can't rush things. And sometimes, Netflix, we can watch all the, you can watch a series, you can watch the whole thing, but with nature, we have to be patient. And so that's a great teacher for the students.
Resilience. This cute little saying here says it all. When life gets tough and you're faced with defeat, remember somewhere in the world, a flower is popping through some concrete.
And that actually happened in Nature Connection. There was a little violet or pansy that kind of busted through the concrete. And little yellow flower, small and just amazing. So we speak to that resilience, the strength that we all have inside of us. And I think that the grandfathers of courage and bravery are really important in this piece as well. The third path I quote quite often, and so that's another piece for social emotional. So although aspects of resiliency can be fostered in children, what matters most is the environment that generally surrounds and supports them. So although we can teach resiliency skills, providing the environment that surrounds them and supports them is key. And I think Nature Connection provides an environment that fosters resiliency. So cross-curricular and strategic instruction. So being very clear in the curriculum objectives that we want to meet, and then weaving a variety of curriculum objectives into Nature Connection. So our main focus is like a health curriculum, focusing on emotions and feelings and being able to name those, wellness, physical activity, talking about healthy eating. But when we look at Nature Connection as a whole, this program does so much in covering curriculum in a really meaningful and authentic engagement. So we do measuring out there. We talk about patterns and cycles in nature. And so when you look at the curriculum, we're covering language arts objectives, we're covering math objectives, social studies, and science all the time. And so it's really neat to have a program that is cross-curricular in a variety of ways. Physical literacy, so getting kids active and outside. So not only in phys ed, but then providing a program that provides physical literacy skills in a variety of ways, outside, in a variety of temperatures, weather conditions, seasons, and really teaching the kids that there isn't like a perfect day to get outside. All days are perfect to get outside. So I think that that's key, and get moving, right? That movement, getting kids moving. So a story from kindergarten. My greatest feedback always comes from the students. And so I have the amazing honor of teaching all 86 students in our school. And so when they see me in the hallway, I have a connection with them, which in a lot of schools, you kind of teach your grade. You grade 4, grade 5, but you don't really get to know the kids until they come into your class. I have the amazing honor of getting to know all of the students, and I feel like that connection is so important. And when I see the students down in a different wing, they're like, "Is it Nature Connection Day?" And so I can see that excitement, which is really neat. And so I was talking to the kindergarten teacher about the program because it was a pilot the first year, and she gave me some information on one of the students and how she was inspired. So after taking part in the Nature Connection program for a few months, 2 kindergarten students were inspired to learn more Blackfoot words at home. So now each week, and now they're in grade 2, so I get to connect with them in grade 2. But in kindergarten, Amy and Ava were learning Blackfoot words at home from their father, and then they were teaching their classmates. And they had a word wall in kindergarten, and they were adding those pieces in. So the teacher says Nature Connection inspired these students in a real powerful way.
This is a story from the grade 4 class. Okay. I had a fun time in Nature Connections. Being outside was relaxing because I could get away from my regular classes. It was a nice break to help me get my focus back. I liked learning about the Blackfoot meanings. It is interesting to learn about different cultures. I find it also helps some of the kids in my class to be more mindful. I hope that the school will continue this program so that other students can learn about the Blackfoot culture and understand the connections to nature. The experience I had with Nature Connections was remarkable. I was able to witness the true impact that mindfulness in nature has on a student's well-being. Students were able to utilize their senses to be aware and experience the different aspects of nature in the present moment. I observed students who experienced challenges with regulation, using nature to help regulate their emotions and behavior while in nature. But also later in the classroom, Nature Connections supported the children with their regulation skills, and in turn, their ability and availability for learning was subsequently enhanced. It was a privilege to witness such amazing moments for these children. And this is coming from Kendra, who was the educational consultant. The Nature Connection program has provided the students in my class with an appreciation for the world around us. The students are learning how to regulate their emotions along with learning the 7 grandfather teachings. The students love interacting with Ini, the buffalo, and often weave their understanding of the buffalo during class time. I can say enough wonderful things about this program. The students are very excited when it is their day to go to Nature Connections. This time allows the children to slow down and appreciate the world around them. And this is by the grade 1 teacher, Mrs. Lazaruk. This school year, all students from K to 6 take part in either the Nature Connection or the Nutsi program. All students at Carsland School are participants in place-based learning.
So the grade 5-6s get to take part in the Nutsi program. And this program came to life or took wings in the 2019-2020 school year. And before that, it was like a final project for KSR 564 in the certificate program. And I had worked really hard on the final project, and I was talking to my professor, and she said, well, why don't you kind of see if this can, take place? And so that dream of the program, working with Joyce Dorr and kind of finalizing what we kind of thought could be a program in our school, we approached our school to see if they would be interested in offering this type of programming, and there was full support at our school. We were able to have community partnership with Nutrien, was very interested in supporting the program, our school division. And so the students in grade 5-6 actually go to a provincial park. So we have a park partnership with the Alberta Parks, and we go down to Wyndham Carsland Provincial Park on a regular basis. So the little video kind of captures, just like Nature Connection, the little video captures kind of the essence or the feeling of going down to the park and connecting with an elder. So Elder Daryl Breaker from Siksika Nation meets with us on a regular basis, and we learn a variety of lessons. And so it's just been an amazing program. And we've developed a website that kind of captures our learning and the type of programming. And beginning of May, we're hopeful that this website can be launched and people can go and take a look at kind of our story. There's a variety of lessons. You can learn the language from an elder. It's www.twoeyeseeing.ca. And it just captures kind of our story and kind of where this project has taken us. So the certificate was foundational in providing us with the knowledge, the skills, and the idea, the dream, and then we were able to take that dream and make it a reality. And now the students get to take part in land-based learning at a provincial park, and they connect with an elder. So that's a program that we're very proud of creating. And without the certificate, that program wouldn't be here. And Nature Connection wouldn't be a school-wide program as well. So I feel so fortunate to being able to take that certificate.
So as you can see, Claire and Joyce have built just an amazing place-based learning program in Carsland at the school there. And every time I hear them talk, I'm so proud and think it's amazing what they've done after Claire completed this program. And I hope she'll continue to do more. So I'll tell you a little bit more about this program. So the Indigenous Sport and Recreation Graduate Certificate is delivered in a blended format. And blended meaning that the courses themselves, there's 3 courses that are required to complete the program. They're actually valued at 4 credits each, so you get a lot of credits for these courses. They're pretty rigorous. They are condensed and they are delivered completely online. There is, however, a mandatory in-class component that is delivered face-to-face. It's offered in partnership with the Alberta Recreation and Parks Association annual conference. So students typically in a normal year would attend a combination of conference sessions and our own specifically designed classroom sessions. I lead some of them, some of our professors in the program lead some of them, and then again, they attend some of the sessions that are done with this conference. And the ARPA conference has actually done an amazing job building a full Indigenous stream into their conference. So it's Indigenous recreation. I think it's incredible, and I'm very happy that we were able to partner with them on that. And I said earlier in a normal year, because this past year, due to COVID-19, we were unable to offer the in-class component. We did still have an intensive week where we met every day. The students still attended the conference, and they attended the conference virtually, and then we did our class sessions virtually. So it wasn't quite the same experience as we have had in the past, in previous years, where we were able to get together and meet. But we kind of made the best out of a situation, I guess, there. So in a normal year, we would have an in-class component, and we'll just, moving forward, we're just going to play it by ear every year to see what restrictions will be facing us with in terms of our pandemic. But hopefully we're able to do it again. So as I mentioned, there are 3 courses that are required to complete, and they are done in sequential order. So when I say a cohort model, what that means is we only have one offering of this program every year. It starts in the fall, it ends in the spring. You take the courses in sequential order. You can't stop and leave for a year and come back. You take them in order as they're offered. So my next slide says, what does it mean to be part of a cohort? That's kind of what I already covered here. And you take the courses together as a group. And part of why we built this program this way is to build a community in practice. We wanted, professionals working in similar areas to come together, share their experiences, share their knowledges, share their learnings in their profession and in their work with the group. And I think that's really been valuable. And we've built friendships, we've built colleagues, we've built networks that we wouldn't otherwise have. So that's partly why we wanted to build a cohort model. Some of the content in the early first course is pretty heavy. So it's nice to know that you're in it with a group of people. And there is a lot of interaction, despite being online, there's still a fair amount of interactions. I have here students are not permitted to leave the cohort and finish it another year. I kind of mentioned that earlier. It's just a way to continue and ensure that we're building that community in practice with like-minded professionals. So who is it for? Kind of anyone and everyone. We've seen so many different professions take this, rec directors in small towns to rec directors in big cities. We've had teachers, educators, allied health professionals. Um, I think that on top of all that, that we've seen physicians, nurses, law enforcement, programmers, program directors, nonprofit, sport organizations, recreation organizations, kind of anyone can benefit from the content that we offer in this program. So maybe a little bit biased here, but the Faculty of Kinesiology, Sport and Recreation, we do feel we are leaders in professional education. This certificate, this graduate level certificate, is kind of seen as professional education. So it's designed for working professionals. It's delivered online so you can learn in place, meaning you don't have to uproot, leave your job to come to campus, leave your family. You can do it right from the comfort of your own home. Um, so we take pride in our forward thinking on educational opportunities for professionals in the area of sport and recreation. This was the very first program that we developed in this kind of realm of professional education. Um, we also have a sport and recreation management graduate certificate that's been up and running for 2, maybe 3 years now. And then we have a brand new adapted physical activity graduate certificate that will be starting this coming fall. So that one's really, really new. And again, these are designed specifically for working professionals. We call this kind of professional but also accessible education. These graduate certificates are accessible to anyone, anywhere, because the content is delivered online. The Indigenous certificate is the only one that offers the in-class component. The rest are completely delivered online courses. But that just means students can study in place, continue their employment, and continue their education at the same time. One of, I think, the nicest things about these programs is that graduate certificates can actually be laddered into a course-based Master of Arts degree or a course-based Master of Arts in Recreation or Leisure Studies within the Faculty of Kinesiology, Sport and Recreation at the University of Alberta. So uh, the beauty of this is you take a graduate certificate, you take your 3 or 4 courses, you finish it, you've got a certificate, a master's level certificate behind your name. You can start using that on your resume and CV, using it to advance your position or your employment. But then you decide, okay, I want more. I want to go back and do another one. So you can do another graduate certificate. As I mentioned, we have several within our faculty. You can combine them or take just one and then apply to ladder that into a full course-based Master of Arts degree. So what that means, the credits that you receive in these graduate certificates are guaranteed to transfer into your course-based master degree from our faculty. That's the key piece right there. So super appealing if you're looking at doing graduate school, but you don't want to leave your job, move to campus, be on campus. You want to be able to take your classes while continuing your employment. You can do that with these. They're delivered completely online. One of the things we wanted to ensure was included in this graduate level certificate in Indigenous Sport and Recreation is the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It was released right around the time we were working on this, so the timing was perfect for us to ensure that we were responding to the calls to action in that. So, as acknowledged by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's recently released findings, this was in June of 2015, there's an increasing demand in Canada and internationally to realize the economic and cultural potential of the growing and youth Indigenous population. This graduate certificate supports the recommendations of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report, which speaks directly to sport, education, and leadership, including point number 89 of the TRC, and I'll read it here. We call upon the federal government to amend the Physical Activity and Sport Act to support reconciliation by ensuring that policies to promote physical activity as a fundamental element of health and well-being, reduce barriers to sports participation, increase the pursuit of excellence in sport, and build capacity in the Canadian sports system are inclusive of Aboriginal peoples. So that kind of concludes what I wanted to say today. I'd like to thank my guests that joined me today, our very proud alumni, Claire Wade, and her guest, Joyce Dorr, for their time, their contributions, everything they've done to create such an amazing program. And I'd like to thank all of you for listening, and I hope you learned a little bit about what we're doing, what's going on in our faculty. I also want to mention too that Dr. Tricia Mcguire Adams, who is also presenting at this conference, is one of the instructors in the certificate. She teaches one of the courses. We're forever grateful to have her included in this program. And so if you're listening to her speak at this conference, keep in mind she's also an instructor at this program. And I think that's really something incredible to highlight and be proud of as well. So hi, Tricia, if you happen to see this as well. So thank you, everybody. We'll be tuning in for questions if you have any questions, or please feel free to email me directly and or Claire and Joyce as well. We'd all be happy to answer any of the questions that you might have. We look forward to that. Thanks.
The Indigenous Sport and Recreation Certificate is a professional development opportunity designed to support working professionals to gain a deeper understanding of the cultural context of the Indigenous communities through sport and recreation. This certificate is delivered in a blended format with the majority of the coursework completed through online instruction and a one-week in-person learning experience. This format was created with working professionals like Janet Naklia in mind.
As a working professional, it's nice to be able to dedicate that time without having to move or commute, so that online commuting aspect is really important to me. And I also think it's important to be able to connect to other recreation professionals who are interested in the same topic.
Here's what you can expect to learn.
In the first course, you will explore and critically examine the social issues to gain an understanding of the historical and contemporary relationship between Indigenous and settler societies. The second course will examine the policies and practices related to managing recreation, sport, and physical activity programs that occur in or engage Indigenous communities. The third and final course will focus on enhancing students' knowledge of the historical and contemporary roles of physical activity, including sport and recreation, in the lives of Indigenous peoples.
This course draws on the research that is grounded in Indigenous perspectives. A lot of the research emerging in Indigenous sports and recreation talks about the importance of community, culture, and connecting to the land. More importantly, incorporating traditional knowledge. I was never into organized sports like my friends and family members were. I felt like I was too overweight and I would not excel in that space. It was not something that I was interested in. Then one day, a friend brought me into the gym and I was hooked. I fell in love with the gym because it gave me a space of freedom of mind, body, and spirit. I can easily say the gym gave me a new beginning when there was nowhere else to turn. And in essence, physical wellness saved me. So that is why I firmly believe that the Indigenous Sport and Recreation Certificate is important for those working with Indigenous communities.
One piece of knowledge I would share is the importance of working in partnership with Indigenous peoples and communities when developing, enhancing, or promoting sport and recreation opportunities for Indigenous peoples. For such opportunities to be relevant and respectful, it's essential to collaborate with Indigenous peoples and communities.
For more information and to apply for the Indigenous Sport and Recreation Certificate, please visit our website.